She's done it in straight sets. She has wiped Martina Hingis off the court. Extraordinary.
Okay, I'm here with Rick Macci at his academy in Boca Raton, and Rick, I'd like to talk about Jennifer Capriati. In the movie King Richard, I mean, you've given rave reviews about it, you know, every aspect of the movie, but the movie obviously focuses on Venus and Serena, but another, your first global superstar also plays a role in this movie, albeit a very small piece, but she's there, which is Jennifer Capriati. Now, Jennifer was your first global superstar. She was the whiz kid. And you've publicly said that, you know, everything is fair game, but I'm wondering whether you think there should have been something of a follow-up at the end of the movie about Jennifer, because she was portrayed in a certain light. I mean, she did have her troubles as a young girl, but she went on to achieve magnificent things. So let's just talk about that, Rick.
No, first of all, I think it's a great opportunity, because everything about the movie was mind-boggling. You know, the way everybody was portrayed, just how they put this whole thing together was amazing. You know, all the characters, from the walk, the talk, what people wore, the one-liners, the way they told the story is amazing. I would have never thought it would come across like that. It was like incredible. But one thing that, and this is the only thing that I can even think about the movie that could have had a little bit different twist or a little bit different understanding, was regarding Jennifer Capriati. Okay, Jennifer came to me when she was 10 years old. She had amazing fundamentals, amazing, by the late, great Jimmy Everett, Chrissy's father. She had her knees bent in the parking lot and her racket back before anybody could blink an eye, and the ball was like on a string. She was a whiz kid, but at 10 years old, you know, I could see greatness the way this little girl was wired. And you know, I had to change her forehand. She kind of hit side spin like Chris Everett. Had to change her serve. Got her to play right on the baseline. And the 3 years that I spent with Jennifer, and they moved from Lauderhill up to Greenleaf. Okay, Tommy Ho was the first boy I had, the youngest ever to win Kalamazoo in the 18s as a 15-year-old. But when I had Jennifer, she won the girls' national 18s, hard court and clay court, as a 12-year-old. And that record in 1988 still stands today, and it will never be broken. She was amazing. Okay, I can say without a doubt, not because of me, I had a little part to do with it, the greatest junior tennis player, female, in the history of the United States. And that says a lot. I mean, she covered everything. And by 14, because she turned pro, she was top 10 in the world. You don't see that anymore. The age eligibility rule has changed, but I mean, she's top 10 in the world. I mean, she was phenomenal. And you know, the bond I had with Jennifer and her father and the mother was, you know, back then they were like my own family. You know, they moved up to Greenleaf. So Jennifer was one of the most polite, considerate, happy-go-lucky. I used to call her Sparky. She was like a little spark plug, you know, and just happy-go-lucky kid, very appreciative, and she just loved to compete and battle. Okay, so then, you know, fast forward, you know, 30-some years later, in the movie, when it came out that she got into drugs or burnt out, you know, and you kind of see that mugshot and stuff like that. I get it. It's public knowledge, and it's all fair game. I understand all that. And just from a personal point of view, forget that I coached her. What would have been the best thing ever? Because a lot of people never even heard of Jennifer. Okay? A lot of people have, but some people never even knew. And the picture that's been painted was she was great when she was young, then she burned out, got into drugs, and what happened? And that's not true whatsoever. She just hit a little speed bump. But the real story and a real movie, if you want to talk about, the comeback kid, or you want to talk about what life is all about, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Get knocked down, are you going to get up? Okay, what happens when you fail? I mean, the Jennifer Capriati story, there's a amazing movie just in that, because I wish at the end of the King Richard, when they showed all the credits, and Richard had so much video of everything, and the credits they shown were incredible. But I wish they would have put something about Jennifer, because she deserved it, simply because, listen to this is beyond amazing. So she becomes one of the best players in the world, 14, 15, 16 years old, takes a hiatus, she's gone for a while, she goes off the tour for a couple years, her ranking goes to like 160, you're like a forgotten person. She comes back because she had the firepower and she had the ground strokes, and she was wired with that determination, because you don't lose the talent, you lose the confidence, you might lose the fitness a little bit, but she could come right back and play through people. And I was on the record saying she can come back, because you never second guess the heart of a champion, where everybody else was throwing her under the bus because she's done what happened, typical burnout. Rick Macci, other than maybe her mom and dad, were the only ones right there. Okay, even her agent jumped off the bandwagon. So that being said, she disappears and she starts her comeback, kind of in and out, but she goes from 160 all the way back to #1 in the world. Not number 20, which would have been amazing, #1 in the world. And she wins Grand Slams. And she wins a gold medal in the Summer Olympics. All right? And she gets multi-million-dollar contracts from a lot of people. So I think to tell the Jennifer story, okay, and you look at it, like I said, with the mugshot, turning pro early, and she got mostly the poster child for what not to do, I disagree with that, okay? She was a happy-go-lucky kid. She was impressionable. You get around the wrong people. They're teenagers. Stuff happens, okay? As a parent, you're going to fail. You're going to fail, okay? That's everybody. But for her to come back like that, she could have just said, I'm out of here, okay? Because I'm sure she earned enough money. She didn't. But to come back and to have that success, that's a movie within a movie. I mean, that's an award-winning performance right there. And everybody, I want everybody who sees this interview, they should look at Jennifer Capriati. What a special young lady. And what's really inside that person to get just crucified in the media. It's a little different when you're a guy. Maybe you can take a punch. A young lady is going to be sensitive, and you're a teenager, and you go through all this stuff. And for her to come back and become #1 in the world and win Grand Slams and get all these multi-million-dollar contracts, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. And she did have wins over, Hingis and Graf and Venus and Serena. She beat everybody, okay? And so I think to do what she did and disappear and come back, that in itself is bigger than anything. That's what the American dream is. That's what life is all about. What do you do after you get knocked down? What happens after you fail? So that's the only thing I wish in the whole movie, because the whole movie was a masterpiece. Dedication, inspiration, motivation, perspiration, you name it. It was incredible, the movie. That was my only thing that, if I had to say so, that I wish they would have portrayed, but since it wasn't, that's why I'm doing this interview. I wanted, because I love Jennifer, her family's like amazing family, and she deserves someone to tell that part of the story, and hopefully millions of people will watch this interview and they'll look at Jennifer Capriati. She was a champion when she was young, and she's a champion now because of just what she did, and the world needs to know about it.